The Scream franchise has always delivered a great to really good type of movie. It's one of the most consistent franchises in horror, maybe the most consistent. But today, we're going to talk about the movie posters and rank them, all six of them. So get ready. Let's go. All right, guys, we're going to be ranking the movie posters for all of the Scream films, just like we've already done for Friday the 13th and for Halloween. This is going to be a lot of fun. We only have six posters, and the question is, what will be the order of this ranking? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. This should be a really fun discussion. And before I get into my picks, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support the channel. I'd appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the Night Watch Zone, please do so. Join this amazing movie community, and let's get into this ranking. So at number 6, in dead last, and this was my easiest pick of them all, I have Scream 3. That's right, Scream 3. This is a poster that I have never really liked, and I've talked about this in live streams before, really just kind of talking about the movie, but the posters for movies have always been a big thing to me. And for Scream 3, I just think it has this really generic feel to it. You have the cast of characters right there in front, which that looks great. I love the fact that Sydney's in the middle and she looks great in it. The font for Scream 3 looks pretty good. I do wish it was a bit bigger, kind of like with the original Scream and obviously with Scream 2, but the font looks good. But the thing that I really don't like about this poster too much is how you have the 3 in the background and you see, one of Sydney's eyes, which of course they have it as blue. I think that's just because that's what shows up better on the poster. But it just looks really generic. I've never been a big fan of this particular poster. Not that it's a pile of shit.
Cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's not my favorite in the franchise by far. This was my easiest pick of all. And you've got the little tagline at the top saying the most terrifying scream is always the last. I don't know. It's kind of generic. I don't think it's a great tagline either. Of course, the question is, did the poster deliver on what the movie gave us? I think it did. I mean, at the time, this definitely felt like it was the end of the Scream franchise, at least the end of this trilogy. And I know a lot of folks are down on Scream 3. It's kind of like the black sheep of the franchise, but there are a lot of things in it that I do enjoy. I think it was a really good opening scene. Unfortunately, Cotton got killed, but it was really set up well. The reveal of Roman and all the background stuff that we know about as far as Wes, having it set up to be 2 killers instead of 1, the studio not wanting that and so forth. But look, man, when you watch that movie, we know. It's not just Roman, unless he is literally a wizard. He is transporting all over the place.
Fudge.
But that's neither here nor there. I think the film really delivered on the goods, and I think this was a really cool movie for the OG3. On the poster, going back to the poster, the one other thing that I think that they should have done is I think they should have had Nev in the middle, and you have David on one side and have Courtney on the other. And in the poster, they have all 3 of them to the left, if you're facing towards the poster. And I don't know, I just would have rather seen them, spaced out, as the 3 in the front. But yeah, that's what it is, man. So at number 6, we have Scream 3. Coming in at number 5, I have Scream 6. That's right, the latest movie in the franchise. It is in the 5th spot. I do like this poster, and I'm going with the theatrical posters, the first ones that came out, which is usually the the headshots of the cast and so forth. And I think this poster has a lot of good stuff going on with it. Obviously, you see the backdrop of New York, Ghostface, the mask is kind of in the sky. You also see a picture of Ghostface standing in the middle with a knife. You've got your cast of characters on both sides. I just think, for me, at this point in the franchise, the posters got busier, not with the artwork, but with showing everybody that's in the cast. And I don't know, man. I'm not saying it's the worst type of poster, but it's never been a big favorite of mine. And I think going through the ranking of these Scream posters, it's a bit easier to do this because, in my opinion, they're a little bit more, they follow that same formula basically throughout. But with the poster, I think it looks pretty cool. You've got the Carpenter sisters, one on each side. I thought that was cool. You got Kirby on one side, and of course, you've got Gale on the other. So they at least spaced it out right, in my opinion, versus what they did in Scream 3. And you've got the rest of the cast of characters down there as well. I did wonder why they had the Meeks twins a lot smaller. They are on both sides of the knife, so to speak. But I thought they should have had them maybe a little bit bigger because they're part of the core four. But that didn't really move the needle for me one way or the other on the poster. Just a little critique of the poster. I do like the font. I will say this. I do love the font for Scream 6. I almost put this at a higher spot because of the font, because I do love the way that it looks. It looks very 3D like, and of course with the M, you've got the Roman numeral for 6. I think that was a really good marketing tactic, and it looks great. I think it's a much better way they marketed it for 6 versus Scream 5, but that's another story we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, the poster, it looks okay. Did it deliver on the promise? I think it did. I mean, we had New York, and I think they did a lot of great things. There was a lot of theories and speculation about how they were going to utilize New York. Would it be good enough? Would we have good chase scenes and kill scenes and the subway and all these types of things? And I think for the most part they delivered. There were some missed opportunities. I do think they could have used the city landscape a little bit more, but for what they had and what they did, I was fairly pleased with that. I think there were missed opportunities on other sides of the story, and of course we had way too many survivors. We had the most Ghostface killers of all time. We had the most survivors of all time. That just does not add up. That's some crazy shit, man. That's some crazy shit. I'm just saying. So that was a huge missed opportunity. Chad should have died. We've talked about that a bunch of times. He should have died. That would have made that attack scene or that kill scene really stand out in this franchise. And they missed that opportunity. And, there's no going back now. There's no going back now. So anyways, at number 5, I have Scream 6.
Looks like you're down another brother.
Coming in 4th place, I have Scream 2. Scream 2. And this poster, I think, it's a pretty cool poster. It's a little bit of a play on the original, but this time you have two faces in the background for the poster. Obviously you have Nev and you have Jada. And I think that was pretty cool. It's Scream 2, right? You have two faces. Now, the one thing that really stands out, I love the way that it's got the font. You've got Scream and you've got the 2 right there. It's very prominent in red. It stands out. The poster looks great because of that, in my opinion. You've got your usual headshots, the cast of characters. Once again, just like for Scream 3, you've got Nev in the middle. She looks fantastic as always. But then you've got David and Courtney all on the left side as you're facing the poster. And again, I like it when, you've got Nev in the middle and you've got Courtney and David on each side of her. I just think it looks better or symmetrical. Maybe that's just me. You guys let me know what you think about that.
Look at us. Hey, look at us.
Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
Would you rather it be like that, or are you fine the way it is where they're just, on one side, one behind another? But anyways, it's a really good poster. I like it. It's got the little tagline at the top of the poster saying someone has taken their love of sequels one step too far. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. At the time, you got to remember, this was big having a sequel to Scream, because Scream was just such a moment in history. It really was. So I think that this poster definitely did a good job of getting you hyped up. Obviously, I also love the fact it says a film by Wes Craven. That's awesome too. Did the poster deliver on what we got in the movie? I think it did. It had a great opening scene, which, it's not better than the original, but it is really, really good. It's a great opening scene. Probably one of the more underrated openings in the franchise and in horror. I think it was a great scene with, just subverting expectations of what we saw in the original. The movie itself had a lot of great things in it. It kind of upped the ante. I think this was, for me, probably my best, the best performance of the OG3. I just think that they had a lot of great things they were doing. Sydney was really, really good in this film. Great scenes, especially the scene in the car. That was such a big tension scene. But I truly, truly think that this was such a good movie for, Courtney Cox and David Arquette. I think that they were so good in their relationship, Gale and Dewey, and of course the chase scene with Gale and Dewey seemingly being killed. I mean, that was just great. A lot of tension. That chase scene with Gale, still one of the best chase scenes in the franchise, and one of the best in horror movies in general. I love it, absolutely love it. The reveal at the end when we get Mickey, and of course we get Mrs. Loomis, that was great as well. So I think this movie had so many great things going with it, and it starts with the poster. So yeah, at number 4, I've got Scream 2. Coming in at number 3, we've got Scream 2022, or it should be called Scream 5. That's what it is. It's Scream 5. This poster, this poster really went in a different angle because of the coloring. The coloring of the poster is a lot different than what we had seen previously with the first 4. It has that bluish, kind of odd shadowing and so forth. But what I really love I think that's one of the things I love about the poster, to be quite honest with you, is that it just looks a lot different. I love the way they have Ghostface in the back, and he's really prominent. I also love that the Scream, it really pops because of the coloring of everything else. And for me, now this is a great example. We've got Nev right in the middle, and then we've got David and Courtney on either side of her, and I think that looks great. It looks symmetrical. I'm all about symmetry, guys. I'm all about symmetry. It just, when I look at these posters, that's one of the things that really catches my eye, is when you're looking for these characters or these actors, where are they on the poster? Now, of course, the other thing about the poster, it says the killer is on this poster. So, duh. Really? I don't know about having that on there. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, okay, well, all right. That's kind of, I don't know, it's interesting. But anyways, it doesn't really detract from how cool the poster looks, in my opinion. Again, this is all my opinion, guys. Some of the choices may change tomorrow if I was asked again, but for right now, this is where I have it. The other thing about it, you've got your cast of characters, so that was really cool. The Carpenter sisters are on one side. Of course, at that point, they were just the Carpenter sisters. They didn't, we didn't know what was going to happen as far as them being leads. But I also love, you got the picture of Stu's house in the background. It looks great. You've got Woodsboro down there at the bottom. So it looks really, really cool. It stands out at this point in the franchise. The first 4 posters had common theme and common coloring to it, which is a good thing. It's not bad, but I think that, maybe it was time to change it up, and this is a great example of changing it up. And of course, 6 is a lot different than this as far as the shading and the coloring. So, but I think that this is a better poster, I think, because of the coloring to the poster. So anyways, did it deliver? I think it did. I think it did on a lot of levels. As far as, Scream is back. We got a brand new cast of characters. The killer was on the poster. We had to. And the reveal was okay. It wasn't the best. I mean, Richie was pretty obvious. Amber was obvious too. And of course, don't get me started on the trailer. But one thing I did really appreciate about Amber, just to give her a little bit of credit, was that moment when she pulls out the gun and she shoots Liv. It was like, whoa. I mean, it was like, bam, it's on. I think Dewey was fantastic in this movie. And of course, the death of Dewey was just a gut punch. But even on the poster, I just think, David Arquette looks gray, looks grizzled and worn down and so forth. So I think they delivered on that. But I don't think they delivered as much on Gale or Sydney. I think that they should have been more prominent in the movie. I think that they should have had more to do. I think Sydney should have been involved in the story before Dewey's death, and I know that they set it up that that would be the reason to bring her back. But again, I just think that she should have been in the movie more than, halfway through. But it is what it is. I think there are a lot of great things in the film. The opening scene, the attack, of course, it wasn't a kill, it was an attack. So that was different. And I think Jenna Ortega was great in that. So it was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't a great opening, but it was really good. I was cool with it. And yeah, I mean, I think this film is okay. It's one of those movies that, I'm kind of hot and cold on. There were things that were good, things that they did pretty well. And then there were things where I think they really had missteps, most notably having Sydney and Dale not in it enough. And we'll see in another one of the films where they had the right balance of older characters and new characters. But in this film, not so much. But even with all that being said, I think it's a really good poster. And yeah, that's what I have. Scream 5. Okay, guys, here we are with the top 2. This list was really interesting. There was part of it that was really easy, and then there was a challenging aspect to it. And this is the part that was really, really challenging because, with some posters, you have multiple versions, and this is a great example of it. But I'm going with the version of this poster that I saw first. Anyways, I'm going to explain it. But before I tell you my number 2 and then my number 1, don't forget, let me know what yours are. What is your ranking for these posters? And again, I'm doing this not based on the film, but strictly on the poster. Okay, so at number 2, coming in at number 2, I have Scream 4. This is a really good poster, and I'm talking about the poster where you have the side profile of Ghostface and it goes down into a point like the knife. I think it's really, really cool. It's absolutely different than what we had seen up to that point. It's still the most unique poster out of all 6 posters, right? And I like it. It's very simple, it's effective, and it's Ghostface right there on the front. And he's prominent, and that's all there is. With Scream, the font, it looks really good. The A is a 4, and I really like the way the font looks for it. And the tagline saying, "New decade, new rules. Simple, short, sweet, boom, makes impact." This is a great poster in my opinion. But here's the thing. There is the other version of this poster where you just have the 4 and you have a little bit of Sydney in the background, again with that blue eyes. It's almost the same thing they had with 3. Really, really weird crap. This is weird shit for a top tier franchise. It's like you're recycling posters. What is going on here?
How you try? How you try?
But that's the other poster where you just have the 4. It says "New decade, new rules," and you have the Scream 4. It's written a little bit different, but it still looks okay as far as the font for Scream 4. But I hate this poster, man. I don't like it at all. If this was the poster I was using as the ranking, this probably would have been lower than 3. This would have probably been in 6th place.
Now listen! Now listen! Now listen!
Okay, so I just want to put that out there. You guys let me know what you think between these 2 posters. But this is not the poster I'm using. I'm using the poster with the profile of Ghostface going into the point of the knife. And again, I think it just looks great. It absolutely looks great. Did the poster deliver on the promise of the film? I think it did. It was a new decade, new rules. It felt fresh. The film felt fresh. And now we're following these other characters like Kirby and Jill and Charlie. And I think they really, really worked well with the OG3. This is the example I give time and time again how you can balance brand new characters and your old veteran characters. And the veteran characters don't have to be tossed to the side like they're just having glorified cameos. I think Sydney was very much a central character in this film, and I loved it. I loved seeing Nev, maneuver through this story and dealing with the events that are happening to Jill, her cousin. And I think it really worked well. They were setting up Jill to kind of like be the new Sydney in a way. So you're invested in her. And of course, the reveal. I think this is the second best reveal in the franchise for me. For me, it's a great reveal. I didn't see it coming. It really, really was a gut punch. No pun intended to what happened to Kirby. That also was a great twist and reveal. So I think this film was operating on a lot of levels. I really enjoy this film. I know that some people are really, really big on it and some people don't like it at all. But you know, it's a really good film. It's one of my favorite sequels, probably my favorite sequel. But poster wise, with this particular poster, I think it's fantastic. It's very different, it's very simple, and it works. So at number 2, I've got Scream 4.
I was so believable today, wasn't I? I mean, I told so many lies that I actually started to believe them.
Okay, guys, this is the time we've been waiting for. If you've been keeping track, you already know. Let me know if this is how yours comes out as well. But at number 1, of course, we've got the original, the legendary Scream from 1996. Listen, guys, let me just tell you, this poster, when it first was coming out, this movie, and I saw this poster, it just really, really grabs your attention. Everything about it. You've got Drew Barrymore right on the front, hand over her mouth, the eyes are wide open, the blue is popping. It looks great. To this day, it's still a fantastic poster. Not just in horror, but just in general. I absolutely love this poster so much. And I don't think they've ever been able to come close to it. Now, that's not to say that at some point they couldn't, but as it stands right now, this was easily my number 1. I didn't even think about it. I easily knew what was my worst poster and what was my favorite poster. So I don't know, that tells you something about Scream. Maybe is that, you know, it's very recognizable and you can just figure things out quickly. It was much easier doing this ranking than it was for Friday 13 and for Halloween. But anyways, when we talk about the Scream poster, I love the way the font is. It's in white and the letters have a certain amount of spacing between them. It looks great. And of course, you've got the tagline on the poster. Someone has taken their love for scary movies one step too far. Solving this mystery is going to be murder. It's letting you know this is a whodunit. This is going to be a mystery. And I think everything about it was great. You see the cast of the actors down below. It's just great. You don't know what's going to happen. And the movie definitely delivered on the promise from this poster. Right from the beginning, the opening scene, there was no one that expected Drew Barrymore to be killed. That just was not part of the expectation. And when that happened, it's kind of like, wow, what are we going to do now? So it's one of the greatest openings of all time. And the film was just so well made from top to bottom. The cast, the script, the funny moments, the horror, everything about this film was just so good, and it still is effective today, just like it was in 1996. It truly changed the face of horror, and it's one of my favorite movies ever. I think when you look at the trajectory of the franchise, it's interesting how you went from this poster and then you started to go to kind of the headshots. Now, I know there's the variation of the Scream poster where we do see the headshots, but I'm going with this because this is the one that came out first. This is the one I saw first. And I think that if anything, maybe they should have copied this a little bit more than just the headshots. I mean, for Scream 2, they it's funny, with Scream 2, it's like they wanted to have the best of both worlds. They have the headshot of Jada and Nev, and then you've got you've got the characters right there in the front. So I don't know, but anyways, this was an easy choice for the top spot for posters. This is a poster that it just stands the test of time. It's fantastic. You know, even to this day, I'm thinking to myself, the idea to come up with this poster was just fantastic because we had never seen a poster like this, you know. So again, credit where credit's due to all the creatives involved. But yeah, that's my number 1, Scream from 1996, which to me was no surprise. It may not be a surprise to you guys either, but hey, let me know what you guys think. What is your ranking of the Scream franchise posters? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support the channel. I'd appreciate it. If you're not a part of the Night Watch Zone, please consider joining us. It's a great community. We love talking about movies. And if you're a horror fan specifically and a Scream fan, this is a great place for you. Consider supporting the channel on our channel memberships and also on Patreon, where we have a lot of exclusive watch parties, live streams, hangouts, and so much more. Because again, this is a place where you'll never love and talk about movies the same. So I'll talk to you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.